What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Who Are We Today podcast, where we talk about everything that goes on in a teen's life, from mental health, identity, change, growth, and just finding your way and finding your meaning and purpose in life in this ever-changing world that we live in. This is the first ever full episode on this channel, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. For the first episode, I wanted to bring somebody that I knew very well. This is my best friend, Maya. We've been friends since my freshman year, her sophomore year. She's now 18, going on to college, and she's the perfect person to talk to about growing up, man, because we all know it can be rough. And shoot, from her perspective, my perspective, we're just here to talk to y'all about growing up, give y'all a little bit of insight, how you can navigate the world, navigate life, so we can all be the best people that we can be. So for you, just introduce yourself a little bit. Tell us about yourself.
I'm Maya. I'm 18. I go to college. I'm pre-med to become a radiologist, which is the complete opposite of what I thought it was going to be. Play softball, and Brayden's one of my best friends. And when he asked me to come, I felt very, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for?
Exhilarated, excited.
Just like, he always talks about getting big and doing things, and he's taking the steps to do it. So that's just really good to see. And the fact that I'm the first step with him means a lot.
Yeah, man. Like I said, we've been friends since freshman year. I think the first time we ever hung out, we went snowboarding, and she almost
I almost broke my shoulder, bro.
Yeah, that was our first ever hangout, and then
It's just been.
I was mad because I had to sit in the lodge and I couldn't go snowboarding, and then I had to leave the mountain. And
I felt so bad though, and I.
because she doesn't know how to go on her opposite edge. She can't.
I
Go
do
on her
now.
heel side.
I do now, but thanks.
But
Anyways.
all right, so let's get into it. So, post-graduation, throughout high school, we've had that transition over from summer. Now it's November, actually. So,
Yeah.
high school's midterms are coming, or college midterms are coming up, next month, right?
I have finals.
Fine. How? It's the middle
So the way that I'm doing school, I'm fast-tracked.
Okay.
So basically, I'm doing the amount of classes a normal student would do from August to May, from August to January, and then a whole nother set of classes come spring. So I will technically be an academic sophomore by the end of this semester.
So basically, you're gonna finish college 2 years before everybody else?
Yes.
Type. So what would you say that how is post-graduating from high school? Like, how is that transition into college life? How would you say the workload changes? How would you say just your maybe your mentality about school, and just how does that change from the day-to-day life?
High school, I hated school. I hated going. I always thought people were so mean. It just was the most anxiety fulfilling thing of my day. So going to college was kind of the last thing I wanted to do. I was in cosmetology school throughout high school. So, I just wanted to do that. But my parents wanted me to get a business degree. So I was like, okay, I'll go to OCC for 2 years, whatever. Once I got there, I kind of settled in and realized that the college life and the college work is a lot different. It's meaningful. It has a purpose. It's working towards something that, you want to do if you're there for the right reason. So I stayed in business for about 2 weeks, and I just kind of was like, I'm really not enjoying this. And I'd always been interested in the medical field, but not exactly knowing what I wanted to be. I knew I didn't want to be a nurse because I can't do blood. And then a close family friend of mine is in sonography school. And so I started to look into it, and I kind of fell in love with the idea of the different aspects of it. So when I switched to health sciences, and it was a whole different world. I was going from an exam every 5 weeks to an exam every 2 weeks. You don't realize how quickly time really just moves. I feel like I just switched and I'm taking finals next week. And you really have to lock in, but it's a lot easier to lock in because it's something you want to do, not because you have to do it, especially if you're working towards it. That's why I kind of hate that college is forced upon some kids, because some kids don't need to be there, and that's why they flunk out. It's not because they're not smart, not because they're not unmotivated, it's because they're not motivated in that part of life, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's kind of like one thing that I've tried to talk on. Is like, but the one thing that I've mentioned in my TikTok videos, that I've mentioned in my YouTube videos, that I've kind of touched on even in this podcast, is like, we're all capable of whatever we want to be capable of, but it's just determining what you want to do in this life. Like, just because your mom's a doctor and your dad's a lawyer, that's not necessarily what you have to do. And that's not what you'll find your passion in. That's not what you'll find your drive in. You have to go outside of your bubble, to go outside of your comfort zone, to find the things that you like. Because if you told me 6 months ago, back when I started my 100-day series on TikTok, that I'd be here recording a podcast, I would have said you're crazy. I'm never gonna get on here and just talk for fun. But now look at me. And you just have to get outside your comfort zone, experience different things, and you really find like who you are and who you're meant to be as a person.
Yeah, I definitely think that me switching was like the best decision I've ever made for myself. Now I'm involved in programs upcoming this summer of being a volunteer in the cancer center at Upstate, and in the pediatric center as well. And just all these great fulfilling opportunities that I would have just never jumped on, I guess is the right word, if I just stayed with the herd, if I didn't go my separate way, if I didn't do the different thing and not just walk the course. Like, I did what I wanted to do and what was best for me. And, a lot of people say to me, oh, that's a really hard major, you must be really smart. And yeah, I'm smart, but it's also determination. If you're passionate about something, if you want to succeed in something, if you want to be good, you will put the time, you will put the effort into it. Because I sit there and I study for 3-4 hours a day, when some other people, it just comes to them and it's just, they could not study at all. It's all about determination, your will to do something. And it doesn't just come to like academics, school, a job, your life, career, everything. It just determination and motivation, honestly.
Mm-hmm. It's however much you apply yourself. If you really want something, you're going to take the necessary steps to go and get it. And I believe that. So, did college feel like a big jump for you, or did it kind of just feel like the next step, like that transition? I know for some kids, like some kids don't want to go to college, but their parents make them, so they kind of like despise that transition, and it's like, oh, my life is about to crazily change. And for others, it's just them going into, it's just another day.
Yeah.
How did that feel for you?
So I feel like I was kind of in the middle, because like I said, I hated high school. I hated going to school. My attendance was awful. I still had really good grades, but I just hated the waking up and sitting in a classroom. That's not how I like to learn. So it was kind of weird. I was living on campus originally, and that just kind of, it started to affect my mental health of being away from home and just kind of I felt very alone. Even though I knew I wasn't alone, it's just, I'm away at school and I'm friends with a lot of young kids. Like, for example, Brayjohn, he's still in high school, so he's doing all his senior year activities, and I just felt very out of place almost. So it was a big adjustment academically, mentally, physically. Not having my mom to do my laundry and just like little stuff like that you don't like realize until it's gone. But it was definitely a very big jump for me. But I'd take the jump again. I don't regret taking the jump.
And like she just said, she doesn't regret it. You'll never know whether you'll like it or not until you do it. So that's why again, YouTube, on TikTok, I've preached just starting. If you have an idea in your head or something that you just want to do, just start. Because if it fails, you can get back up, you can try something new, or you can keep going if you really like it that much. You'll never know what you'll get out of something if you never put anything into it to begin with.
Yep.
And so this whole podcast is about talking about growing up in today's world. Obviously, we know social media has taken over. Kids scroll all day long. Social anxiety is in every kid's mind a little bit, whether it's from school to parties to extracurricular activities. Everyone's a little bit disconnected in one way or another. So how do you feel like the connectedness from a community in high school to kind of going into college, and how do you think you've changed in ways?
So I feel like my best example of this would be Kate, who's another close friend of mine, and another friend of mine, Melissa. Melissa went off to college and is an hour and a half away-ish. We still talk here and there. There's no bad blood. We didn't have a falling out, but we used to talk every single day, and we were like inseparable in high school. And it's not because we drifted away. It's just because we don't have that. We're not forced to see each other every day, if that makes sense. We have to go out of our way to make time for each other. And I feel like that transition from high school to college, you really do learn who's with you and who's not, because there's no one forcing you to talk to these people every day. I mean, I think I talked to maybe 10 people that went to high school with, and I don't have any hate for anybody. It's just everybody goes their own way, and then when you get to college, unless you're super into the party scene, and I mean, I'm on a softball team, so I mean, I kind of got a cheat code to having friends in college. I have my teammates, and I've clicked with some of them very well. I love them. But I feel like that's just like another thing. If I didn't have softball, I don't know where my friends would stand college-wise, because I don't have that. I didn't have to go up to someone and be like, hey, do you want to go get Starbucks with me or something like that. It was, we all showed up to practice one day and we were forced to see each other every day and kind of start talking. But I have made a couple friends in a couple of my classes that I do talk to here and there, but never anything that I would bring home or anything like that, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like high school was a lot different. You grew very close very quickly with people. But like I said, my perspective's also different because I did move home. So I don't have that roommate dorm life. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like that's where a lot of kids build their friendships in high school, or college. But the social life, it's very judgmental in college, I'd say. Because I'm not a big partier. I don't go out to the bars. I don't do any of that. But there's a very specific group that does and doesn't. So you're either with the group or you're not in the group. And it's hard to get into the group once you're already not in it. I don't know if that makes sense.
So, okay, I think we should give them a little bit of perspective of what college you go to in that aspect.
So I go to a community college, so it's like a little bit like not as much as like a huge party school, but we are neighboring to SU, which is a huge party school, which is where a lot of the kids do end up going out partying. And I just kind of sit back and I look at some of them, and I'm not judging them because everyone has a right to their college experience, but some of them are miserable. Like, they don't, like,
as in their attitude towards other people,
attitude towards life, attitude towards other people. I mean, one of my good friends was going to a university and was going out every single night and ended up flunking out and is now at community college because of the
party scene,
because of the work life. Like, balance of partying, school, and peer pressure.
So you mentioned peer pressure. How would you say, because there's peer pressure in all stages of life.
Exactly.
Whether you're 8 years old or you're 50 years old, there's always going to be somebody trying to make you do something that you wouldn't naturally do just by yourself. So
Right.
how would you say, like, because different from high school, we're a lot closer with your friends. You know them
Exactly.
for a lot longer because you've grown up with them since kindergarten.
Right, you started
all the
with
way.
them in kindergarten.
So how would you say, like, the peer pressure is different from high school to college? Have you ever been pressured to do anything that you would say is like crazy or that you would never think of doing?
College, I mean, I've been put in some weird situations, I'd say, but I've never let somebody convince me to act on such thing. I just feel like the peer pressure in college is weird because high school, the age gap is, okay, 14 to like 18 max. College, it's 17 to 22. So you have people that can legally drink. You have some kids that can't even legally gamble. Like, so it's just, you get grouped into these groups, like I said, how you fall into your net of people in college, whether it's your roommates and who your roommates know, who your teammates know. I mean, some of my teammates are turning 20, and then they were turning 20 as I was turning 18. I just turned 18. I was 17 going into my freshman year of college. So I feel like that's where the peer pressure really comes, because some people are more mentally mature and things that are their normal but are normal for their age but aren't normal for your age are pushed upon you because of that. And I feel like that goes back to the party aspect of going to big schools like SU, where, you know, you go to the senior frats and these boys are 22, 23, and you're just a little 17-year-old girl, and they're doing all this crazy things, and you're like, holy crap, I would never do that. And then later that night you find yourself doing it, and then you just kind of sit back and you're like, did that just happen? Like, you kind of just are like taken back and really think about just like your different perspective of, I'm trying to think of how to word this, of how you would have reacted compared to if you were in high school. Like, you're not going to call your mom at a frat party and be like, Mom, I'm uncomfortable, please come get me. I mean, if you have that relationship with your mom, good for you. But I mean, I don't think I'd ever call my mom and be like, Mom. But I feel like that just like also goes in, is when you go to college, you automatically feel the sense to be an adult and to be independent. And, you know, it's your first time being out on your own. It's like freedom. So you don't want to let something take away that freedom or make you feel like you're losing that freedom, which comes a lot with peer pressure, I feel like.
And I think that just all goes back to somebody's values as a person, and definitely the household that they grow up in. Like,
Exactly.
a kid with a super strict household is more likely to go and wild out when they get to college, as opposed to someone who got the opportunity to go and at least experience some type of a high school party scene,
Right.
to where they've been around alcohol, maybe some other drugs, and where it's not as obscene to them, like, oh my God, this is my first time ever doing it, I want to do it all.
Exactly. And I feel like that's part of the reason why I went into college with such a level head, is because, especially having two older sisters and parents that weren't naive, like they knew that we were going to do things. They didn't supply anything. They just kind of were just like, be safe, be smart. If you need a ride, call. And then, of course, like with Brayjohn, we've had our fun, but it was safe and mediated. It wasn't ever anything crazy. But college, it's not mediated. It's just literally no one's stopping you. And that just also goes to show, like high school, when you go to a high school party, most of the time you go with kids that you've known since 8th grade, 6th grade. Some of these kids you met, or people you met 3 months ago. And
or literally 2 hours before the party.
exactly. So it's just like the trust and, like you said, your values as a person.
Yeah, and then that's like college. It's like everyone is also just, I'm not there yet, but I mean, from what I can tell, is everyone's just looking for the next good time. And that's like, I've touched upon it already on my TikTok. Like, nobody is gonna save you from you. Like, that, like, everyone's living their own life.
Exactly.
The drunk frat boy who's telling you to take a line of coke isn't worried about whether you have an addictive bloodline or whether you are gonna get addicted to coke just because you try it one time. So and they don't care about all of that. So that's where you just have to have a good head on your shoulders and really, really, really know what you're doing and know what you're going into. And I'm not saying, if it's up to you, I'm not saying don't do it if you really want to, but I'm just saying make sure you know what you are doing at all times and just be safe when you're going out there into the world and trying to have these experiences in your life.
And also, because sometimes, not to counteract what you're saying, you're not always going to know what you're doing, but at least be semi-educated on what you're doing. Be smart when you're doing something you're not familiar with completely. Does that make sense?
Yeah. All right. So we've been talking about this transition. So what's something, a part of this transition from high school to college and to this young adult life that you're still kind of trying to figure out about yourself?
Routine. Definitely routine. I had always been the night child. Always. I was the one to stay up until 3, 4 in the morning, and those were my most productive hours. Now, I mean, last night I was DDing for my sister, and I had to get her at 11:30, and I was struggling to keep my eyes open. And so that plays a part of being a student athlete and having a lot of homework and having to get up for 8 a.m. classes the next morning and trying to jam everything. So I feel like time management and schedule is definitely like a lot harder and different because, like I said, there's nobody sitting there holding your hand. You know, no one's forcing you to do anything. Like in high school, if you got a bad grade, your teacher was going to call your parents. They don't do that in college. In college, the professors get paid, and that's that. Is what it is. So I feel like that's just like a hard thing is the schedule, and then especially working on top of it. So last night I had gotten home at like midnight, went to bed, and then had to be up at 8 for work. While I was at work, I was studying in between, and then went to family dinner, and now I'm here. And then when I leave here, I'm going to go home and study and then go to bed to be up at 9 a.m. to be at school until 6:30 tomorrow. So I feel like the schedule is definitely one of the hardest parts, scheduling, time management, and making time for yourself. And make sure you're filling up your own cup while you're filling up your future self's cup, if that makes sense. Like, but I definitely schedule, time management.
Do you think there's anything a high schooler could do to prepare themselves for that abrupt change in scheduling?
Stop procrastinating.
Yeah, that's something I found myself struggling with.
I was a terrible procrastinator in high school. Awful. I was the one sitting there. The essays due at 11:59. I'm doing the final touches at 11:58. But now I found myself, sometimes it'll be Sunday night and we use something called Pulse, and I'll get a Pulse notification. It's like, oh, this is due. And I'm like, oh my God, I didn't do that. And then I log on to see that I already had turned it in 4 days ago because, I didn't want to have to worry about it. And so definitely breaking the habit of procrastination and making time to do the things you don't want to do, but also building in time for procrastination. Like I build in time to my school schedule to procrastinate. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like, and doing the things you don't want to do, like that builds that discipline to just get it over with.
Exactly.
Like if you're able to just every week, as soon as you get home, just do your homework, write that essay, do it this day it gets assigned, or bust it out in chunks, that builds, that takes away from your mind saying, I don't want to do this right now, I'll do it later. And just doing the hard things when it has to be done before the last minute, it will just make your life so much easier. And it'll just, your brain builds habits by just doing
Exactly.
little things at a time. We were taught from a little age, brush your teeth every morning.
Right.
And now if you wake up and you don't brush your teeth, and something messed up in your day, and you're going to have a weird day.
Exactly.
And your mind just builds off the little things, and everything compounds. So just by starting small, and one homework assignment every day after school, it'll
You also
build up, and that procrastination will slowly go away.
You also feel better. Like, I know for me, I'm a very anxious person, and I know a lot of kids our age are struggling with anxiety, depression, any mental health. You don't have to sit there and worry about, oh my gosh, it's Sunday night. I procrastinated all week. I have 3 essays, 2 homeworks. Sundays I can just breathe most of the time because I have no schoolwork, because I took care of it throughout the week. So I feel like that definitely is helpful for a stress factor, and it also shows you what you need to work on. I know, I struggled with this chemistry problem. I'm going to go to my professor's office hours before the homework's completely due so that I can get the questions correct so I can succeed on tests. And I feel like it's a snowball effect of one little thing.
Yeah. And like for me, like I recently, like over the past couple months, I've built a stronger morning routine. So now I wake up at 5 a.m. I get up, I work out for 20 minutes, I read for 20 minutes, I take a shower, and then I actually go and start my day, make my breakfast, do whatever. But that little just block in the morning of just me having that time to myself to get up and be in my own thoughts, like I'm getting something done for the day. And just by doing that, you feel like, damn, I got something done today. At least I worked out, I read, and I started my day off on a good note. And just by doing that, it impacts the rest of your day. And then the upcoming months, the upcoming whatever, it's just, everything compounds, yeah.
Yeah.
So, looking back, what do you think shaped who you are today?
A couple different things, I'd say. I didn't always have the best friends in high school.
Till I came around.
He giggles because he's seen the ins and outs of different people, and I feel like seeing who leaves when you're at your lowest and who stays when you're at your highest really just proves to you like who is real and who is not. And I feel like I struggled for a while of constantly wanting to validate other people's feelings to make them feel like they needed to maintain a friendship with me, or trying to prove to them that I am worth being friends with. But after surrounding myself with actual good people and people who had my best
Interest.
It really started to shape not only my motivation, but how I looked at my relationships with people. Brayden is a prime example of this. Me and Brayden will go 3 days without speaking to each other, and then we hang out and it's like nothing ever happened. And it's not because we're mad at each other, it's because we're both working on our own success. But he's also one of my biggest inspirations, because he is one of those people that says, I want to do something, and then works towards the steps to do the thing. He doesn't just talk about it and fantasize about it. He does the things. He gets up every morning. He does the things that he needs to do consistently. And I feel like that also shapes me, just my relationships, going in from tween to teen to into my young adulthood. And then also I feel like the diversity that I faced in school, growing up with a learning disability, I feel like I was always looked at a different way and played like I was stupid when I wasn't. To put in perspective, I wasn't to reading level until my sixth grade year. I was at like a second grade reading level my fifth grade year. You know, I had girls in my class, we were reading Wonder at the time. I remember it so vividly. And my biggest fear was always reading out loud in class. Like when we did the popcorn reading, it was like the worst day of my life. And they always used to make fun of me because I couldn't like read out loud, or I'd stutter, or things like that. And then moving into middle school, I remember how badly I wanted to be in honors classes. I wanted to be in honors classes. I wanted to prove everybody wrong, but they never would put me in them because of my 504 plan. They couldn't accommodate me. So I felt I feel like that's where my hate for school started to build, because I felt like I was different. I felt, but not a good type of different, a bad type of different. I felt like no one believed in me. And no shade at my mom. Love her. She was there all the time. But in a school setting, I feel like it's very different coming from teacher praise and, you know, academic praise, that academic validation. Because your parents, they love you. They're going to tell you you're doing your best or whatever. But I feel like that also shaped me, is not doing it for other people, but doing it for yourself instead of, and that also goes back to my friends. Like I started doing things for myself. I started surrounding myself with people that were going to make me a better person. I started doing things academically that were going to make me a better academic student. But I feel like those are two very big things that shaped me as the person and student and athlete that I am now.
Yeah, because I like how you said, like, do it for yourself. It's your life, it's our life. Like at the end of your life, everybody has to sadly pass away, and in those final moments you can think, did I live my life for myself and do everything in my power to be myself, or did I let other people control the way that I lived?
Exactly.
If you let other people hold you back from your dreams, you're gonna watch other people fulfill them.
Exactly.
So you can't sit back on the sideline and let other people control you while you are too scared to just take that first step to accomplish what you want to accomplish, because you'll never know if you never take that first step. And it's the people who do take that first step that actually are the ones who you see, not the ones who quit and the ones who don't, and the ones who sit and procrastinate, the ones who sit and let other people tell them they can't do it. Because, like, prime example, Michael Jordan, he didn't make the 8th grade basketball team. If he never got cut from that 8th grade basketball team, we might not have known Michael Jordan for his work ethic to make it all the way through high school, make it all to the league. Kobe Bryant, people told him, why are you training so much? Look at what he did. He was one of the best NBA players of all time. Like, there's all these people out here who were told that they ain't never gonna do shit in life. They ain't never gonna be nothing. They ain't never gonna do something. And now look at all of them now. They use that. They use that as a drive. They use that as a fuel. Don't take it as hatred. Don't take it as you can't do something, because you can do anything that you put your mind to. So you gotta rewire your brain to think as, this isn't negative. This is just positive fuel in my gas tank. And when I make it, it's just something I can come back and point back in your face and be like, look at me and look at you.
Exactly. Your haters are your biggest fans. They're watching you more closely than your true fans, because they're looking for imperfections. They're looking for things to hate on you for. But
and then it's like me with this little like content creation journey that I'm on, bro. It's like people will take the time out of their day to leave a negative comment on the video, but you just helping my engagement.
yeah,
Like,
you're boosting the algorithm.
Yeah, like you just helping me at the end of the day. So whether you think you tearing me down, you just building me up. So I love y'all. I appreciate everybody who watching this video, negative or positive. But if you could go back and talk to your high school self, give yourself some bits and pieces, advice of what your life will look like or what you think you could do, what would you say?
Stop doubting yourself. I always preach to my friends, do it for you. But I was also one of those people where I needed to listen to myself. You know, I would sit there and tell somebody, oh, you can do it, like do it for you. And then I'd sit back and be like, oh, well, I need to do this for so-and-so. I need to do this to make my mom happy. I wish I just went back and just told myself take one day at a time. In high school wasn't easy for me, to say the least. Went through a lot, but one day at a time. And I forget the exact saying, but it's like something comparing money where it's like if you have 1 million something dollars and someone steals $1, are you going to be worried about that $1? And then it got converted into minutes of a day. If one person ruins 1 minute of your day, are you going to let that 1 minute ruin your whole entire day? And I feel like that's something that has always stuck with me of it's not a bad life. It's not a bad day. It just might be a bad minute. Might just be a bad hour. And I just feel like that was something that I wish I could just go back and tell myself, don't just take it day by day, but take it hour by hour, minute by minute, second by second, because you never know how quickly something's going to shift, how quickly something's going to fall into your lap, or how quickly something's going to leave. But just living in the moment and stop worrying about the past as much and stop letting my past define me instead of wish I let it motivate me instead of define me.
I like that because me, in this journey that I'm on, obviously it's becoming better. It's doing things for my future self. And I see myself, I get caught up in where I want to be and not where I am. And so that's something like we also have to remind ourselves is to live in the moment, because 10 years down the road, like this is the good old days. Like this is what we remember. And then 10 years from then, that conversation was the good old days. And it's always just being present, because the grind of getting to the top is what most people say is the funnest part.
It's the best part.
And eventually you're going to miss what you have to become what you want to be, but it's all a part of the journey. And so enjoy the good, enjoy the bad, because as long as you wake up every day and you try and strive to be the best that you can be, and it doesn't matter whether it's good or bad, because every day you wake up and you're going to strive to just be better than what you were the previous day.
You never want to go through something by yourself, because then once you are at the top, it's lonely at the top.
Build that circle, but don't let negative people in that circle. Yeah.
I feel like that's also another thing that I've learned coming to age, if you will. Quality over quantity is a serious thing. I have maybe 5 good friends, but those are good ass friends that are ride or dies. I could call them with any situation and they'd be like, all right, we're gonna figure it out. Or I feel like that's just another thing that have value of who you're surrounding yourself with, and not just the number of people.
Because like me personally, you'd say I have a lot of friends. Like, I ain't gonna lie, like I know a lot of people.
I know a lot of people too. I have a lot of friends. A lot of people know me. I know a lot of people, but the people that I go out of my way is what I'm talking about, of like the close 5 people. Because, like Addison, for example, she's one of my really good friends, but I don't talk to her on a day-to-day basis. Like, but that's still someone that has value to me, but isn't very much like
there's the people that know you, and then there's the people that know you.
Right. Right.
And
you know me versus like girls in my cosmetology class in high school who knew me. Like does that make sense?
Like you know me from online, you know me from seeing me at school, you know me from
you see what I want you to see, and I feel like that plays a big role into the social media aspect of our age group and us growing up. Is I see these girls, even girls that are in local school districts that are living this fantasy life that I want to live, and I wish I lived in high school. But then I'm like, that could just be one picture from one party that they took, and that's not actually how every party is. That's not how their everyday is. People in social media, just, you see what they want you to see. You see a fantasized, thanks, speech impediment, version of their life. It's a mediated form of communication.
Yeah, and comparison is the thief of joy, man. If you're just always looking, damn, they have that, they have that, they have that, you're gonna forget what you have.
Exactly.
If you're always searching for what somebody else has, what you have is gonna lose value to you. But once you get what they have, you're gonna be like, oh, they have something new. And
Exactly.
what you search for is no longer going to have that value. So just be grateful for where you're at in life. Be grateful for what you have, what you don't have, because you can get it if you really want. But at the same time, be grateful for what you already have, because it can be taken away just like
Exactly. I forget who says it, but it's another quote that stuck with me is, the more you have, the more you want. And that can be mentally, materials, anything. The more you have, the more you want. A lot of people are never satisfied.
that.
And I feel like that can be a good but bad thing. Never
Yeah.
settling.
Yeah. I mean, it's good in the case that if you're striving for more, if you're striving to be better in your life, if you're striving for better connections, better relationships, if you're just striving to do better for yourself as a human being, rather than striving to striving to get the next fastest car, the bigger
Right.
house, and just keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
It goes hand in hand. So you just have to,
Balance.
you have to, get that balance, and that's what's life all about, man. What? 6, 7. All right. So, growing up, going through high school, was there a specific person or experience or just something you saw or a mindset that you gained that shaped you or helped you through high school and is currently helping you now, or that you're living your life by, kind of?
So my freshman year, I met a boy, and this boy was my world, right? He passed away in a car accident very abruptly, and it was devastating. It was one of the most heart-wrenching, traumatic things I had ever gone through. I had lived a pretty normal childhood, never anything crazy. So how quickly something had gotten ripped away from me just really showed me a perspective. And I know we say don't live for other people, but at the same time, sometimes my only motivation is do it for Ben. And when I graduated high school, he never got to graduate high school. He never got to get his license. He never got to go to college. He never got to get his first car. So when I hit all those milestones, I felt a little bit more appreciative, because there was someone extremely close to me that didn't get to experience that. And it wasn't by their choice. It was by the poor choices of somebody else. And I feel like that definitely started to form me. Starting my freshman year was just, going back to, you never know when something's going to get ripped away from you, and just being in the moment and really appreciating what you have and not dwelling on what you don't have. Because at the end of the day, you never know when something is going to just literally disappear. Whether it's their fault, someone else's fault, no one's fault. But I just feel like that was definitely something through high school and leading into my day-to-day life it didn't just change my perspective, but it also gave me motivation of like why I do things, and because there's other people out there who didn't, whether it's because of disabilities or lack of other people's responsibilities, well, having other people's lives in their hands. But
Yep. Life is fragile, man. Everything around you is fragile. So just cherish the moments, cherish the times, cherish everything. Like me personally, I'm excited to get out of high school, but I know I'm gonna miss the little things. Like
exactly.
I know I'm gonna miss seeing my friend and dapping my friends up in the hallway, and even just
Seeing that principal,
like skipping class,
yeah,
and it's like I know I'm gonna miss it once it's gone, and it's like I'm so excited to go on to the new chapter, but it's like just live in the moment and live with what you got for the time being, because you'll never know when it'll change. So, what's one piece of advice you'd give to someone like me finishing high school, or maybe even someone going into high school?
don't get caught up.
In
Don't snap two best friends, you will get caught.
yeah. Wish I knew that one.
Well, no, I'm telling you now. But don't get caught up in the drama and the, oh, can't wait to senior year, because it flies. Like, it literally flies.
Yep.
And you think that when someone says that to you, you're like, oh my God, that's so cliche, but it literally flies by. The days are long, the weeks are long, but the months are fast and the years are fast. And that is just live in the moment, honestly. And, remember what you're working for and why you're working for it. Have a purpose. It's hard to get up every day and work towards something and do something that you don't really want to if you don't have a purpose, if you don't have a goal. And, I feel like it's okay to not know what you want to be, but it's when it comes to a job, but you should know what you want to be internally as a person. And, you work towards that, even if it's just getting up and going to school. That's showing commitment, it's showing routine.
Like having that, like you said, you don't have to know what you want to be, but like if you can just wake up every day and be yourself, like that's doing something. Like,
Right.
you don't have to know what you want to do in the next 20 years, but if you know what you want to do today, if you know who you want to be today, that's gonna compound. It's gonna turn into a snowball, and eventually you'll build a snowman. And but like
Merry Christmas.
huh?
Merry Christmas.
Yeah. And like everything just builds up, and everything compounds, like I've said a million times. But just finding yourself as a person finds what you want to do in life. Like
Exactly.
when I started the 100 days of self-improvement, I wanted to before that I wanted to go to college to be a movie director, and I still would like to pursue that path, but now I've come into it, and now I want to be more of an entrepreneur. I want to own my own business. I want to do something like this for a living. And if I never started that, I would have never known. And so as long as you can just wake up and know what you want to do today, if you know who you want to be every single day when you wake up, you'll slowly figure out what your life will turn into, and you'll slowly figure out who you want to be, what you'll grow into, and that mold will just stick together stronger and stronger, and eventually that final picture will be made.
And that all goes back to taking that first step. Don't be scared of failure.
Yep. I mean, I could talk on starting like all day long, because it's like so many people are scared to start, and I don't know why, because it was a quote that really stuck with me, and I've posted it like 3 times, I think. Why would I be scared of chasing my dreams when my worst case scenario is already your reality? Like, that's saying, like, I don't want to work a 9 to 5. I don't want to live an average life. I strive for more than myself. So why would I be Why would I be scared to go above and beyond for my dreams? Why would I be scared to go above and beyond for myself when my worst case scenario is living the life that you already live? You're perfectly fine with living the life that you live right now. So why would I be scared of that? Why would I be scared of not taking that first step? There shouldn't be fear in chasing your dreams, because either you make it there or you die trying. Like, it's as simple as that. And
I feel like that's the best way to explain it. Die trying.
yeah,
Like,
if you really want it that much, you'll die trying to do it. You'll try dying, or you'll die trying to get there. And if you don't, at least you tried. At least you get to say, I didn't quit. I didn't give up on myself. Because everyone hates the 50-year-old uncle who says, I could have been. And you want to be the one who says, I did.
real.
Yeah. All right, so pressure. Peer pressure, social media pressure, adult pressure. It's like four walls just all closing in on you from every which way. How would you say you handle pressure? Do you handle it differently now that you're in college?
Yeah. Sorry to cut you off. But
You're good.
I feel like peer pressure, I don't deal with it as much as I did in high school because of, like I said, I surround myself with people that have my best interest in mind. Like, if I'm about to do something that is so stupid and I know I'm going to regret, and Brayden knows I'm doing it, he will sit there and be like, you're so stupid for that. Don't do that. And so I feel like the pressure doesn't necessarily come from my peers as much as it does self-pressure. I feel like that's something a lot of people don't talk about a lot.
Definitely.
Self-pressure, because like you said, as much as I'm scared of failure, I feel like I'm scared of failure in the sense of I'm working my ass off every single day to not be a failure. So that, and making my parents proud, that's also a lot of pressure. My parents aren't the type of parents that are like, okay, you have to have A's and to be successful. But, you know, there's that self-pressure of, I want to make the people around me proud. I want to be able to pay off my parents' mortgage. And, you know, I feel like that's a lot of self-pressure. And I feel like that's that fifth direction that is coming towards you. But adult pressure, I know for me at least, all that vaping. When I was switching my majors, you know, my nana had looked at me and was like, you know, this is going to be a lot of work, right? And I was like, yeah, I know. And it kind of instilled doubt into me of, can I really do this? And so, you know, sometimes that pressure can turn into overthinking and self-doubt. And I feel like that's where you have to have the barrier and the mental toughness of, is this just somebody else's opinion of me and what they want to see from me? Or is this what I truly want to see from myself? And I feel like that's where the line of pressure really gets drawn. Is it somebody pushing you to be better? Is it someone pushing you to do what they want you to do because you're in a position that they want to be in?
Yeah, I like that a lot. Like, people, I saw another quote. It was...
We should start a book of just quotes we read.
It was, people will always love you and support you while you're chasing your dreams. But when you accomplish them, they'll be envious and jealous and try to tear you down because you did everything they were too scared to do.
Exactly.
And you shouldn't be scared of failure.
Take the first
accomplishing
step.
your dreams. You should be scared of failing at not becoming the person that you want to be. Like not doing everything that I dream of, like, that's what keeps me up at night. Like,
Yeah.
living an average life, that's what keeps me up at night.
Yeah.
Not thinking, oh, like, Like there's a sense of delusion that you have to be great. And,
Yeah.
And I hope I can, through this, I can instill that sense of delusion in y'all, because I have that delusion and I believe that I will do everything that I say. And it's like you realize once you get that delusion that when you try to talk to other people about what you want to do, it feels weird.
Right.
Like I try to tell people I'm going to be a millionaire by 21. And when I tell people that, I don't even want to tell people, because it's like you're going to think I'm weird and you're not going to think I'm going to do
Yeah.
it. So I'm not even going to tell it to you in the first place. And it's like I'm so delusional in the way that I'm going to get there, but it's only delusion until you do it. Everyone's going to think it's impossible until you make it possible. And it's like everyone's going to think you're crazy until they think you're a genius.
Exactly.
So from high school to college, high school, you're chasing grades, you're chasing popularity, you're chasing the next big thing. College, you're chasing the future. You're chasing your life. You're chasing everything that's the complete opposite of what.
When you say college, I think that's where our generation gets caught up, though. Because I feel like our generation is very instilled in the idea of you have to go to college to be successful when you don't.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, like, yes, the college to high school. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. Just had to like add that in there.
So, in those chasing different aspects of things, what does success look like for you now as compared to what it did as high school? What would in high school, what were you proud of if you accomplished something, as to what are you proud of if you accomplished it now in college, or just in life in general?
High school, I was proud of myself if I got up and got through a full day. Like, honestly, if I got up and got through a full day of school, went to all 4 blocks, that was a good day. Now, college, a good day is, okay, I woke up at 5:30, I went to lift, I went to all my classes, I studied, I went to work, and, I got a full 8 hours of sleep. And I feel like the success, just like success factor of like my future in high school, I just wanted to be a cosmetologist and just do people's hair, and hopefully my husband was a doctor and made a bunch of money. And now all the time I say I'm going to be a single mom, and willingly, like, I'm going to just work my ass off to be financially stable and raise a kid by myself, and just have it be surrounded by the best aunts and uncles that aren't blood or are blood that a kid could be surrounded with. And I feel like success in my head isn't just money or materials, it's mental stability more than financial stability, because with mental stability comes financial stability, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Not that money solves all problems, but it does reduce.
Yeah.
And I feel like that goes to show, coming from, we're both middle class children. We didn't come from the poorest of the poor, but we didn't come from the richest of the rich. Some of the things that we want, we have to work for ourselves, or we have to wait until Christmas, or things like that. And I'm almost grateful that I grew up like that, because I'm appreciative.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful for the things that I not only can do for myself now. I work my ass off. I buy a lot of my own things, not because my parents can't get it for me, but just because there's a feeling of success of being able to do something for yourself.
Yeah, and I think it also gives you like you didn't get everything, so you have that drive to chase what
Exactly.
you want. It gives you that drive to, like, I have to do this shit for myself, like,
Yeah.
because I'll get it from I'll get help, but I won't get all of it.
Exactly.
So it gives you
Yeah.
that balance to learn how to overcome things on your own, and how how to get things on your own.
Yeah, and so like that definitely ties into like, oh, my high school mindset of, oh, I was just gonna have a rich husband and my job was just gonna be fun money, to now where I'm like, I want to be the breadwinner. I want to be able to completely provide for my family, be the rich aunt, be the cool aunt, the cool mom, but still having morals and engraving the grind and the motivation into my children and my nieces and nephews, and hopefully in the future my grandchildren.
Yeah. And I also think one thing that like becoming successful that I've also learned is you have to change your mindset and how you look at money. You have to, like, money can't come and go. Money has to stay, and it has to, once again, compound over time.
Exactly.
Like for me, I'm terrible with money, but I also
Awful. Awful.
I've never had a job because I'm a 3-season sport athlete, so I never have the time to actually go and get one. But I've found ways and other ways to make money, like through videography, through photography, through these little hobbies that I have. But when I do get it, it's spent before it even hits my account. And that's one thing I have to work on. But I've also changed my perspective on money, which I think is the problem with most middle and lower class families, is they think money is evil. They think money is
I agree with
the
that.
root of all problems, because they see all of these billionaires who don't give back, and they see all of these people with money who could do better for it, but they also don't realize that they have a completely different outlook on money.
Exactly.
And people think the rich don't pay taxes, but the rich don't pay themselves to pay taxes. They don't have an income because they have 5 businesses and they take shares from the company. And it's just all little loopholes that people are in to get it. But changing that mindset to think, if I invest this $10 every week instead of spending this $10 every week on Starbucks, eventually that $10 will turn into 10,000, into 100,000. And that's one thing that I think our generation needs to learn, because our generation is just consume, 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 consume,
Keeping
instead
up.
of just building it over time.
So I was very bad with money in high school. Like, I was like Brayden, but I had a job, right? I always had my eyelashes did. I always had my nails done. My hair was, I was paying your mom to do my hair like every month. Like, I think, and, I just came to realize, and another thing that like gets to me is my car. Like, my car was handed to me. I didn't have to pay for it. I don't pay for my insurance, none of that. And, it's not a 2020 fully loaded SUV. It's a 2010, 175 miles on it. And, you have those upper class kids that are like, oh, well, I drive a brand new BMW. And then you just kind of look at your car and you're like, oh, well, But now, like, I wanted to buy a new car so bad. I wanted to have an Audi. I was going to finance a car. And then I was like, I'd be stupid. I'm going to put myself in debt. I'm going to stress myself out just to have a label, just to have a bigger number. Like, and, I feel like that's also something that middle class and lower class people struggle with, is giving people the perception of being rich. And I feel like the word being rich is a very broad statement.
Yeah.
Because I'd say I'm extremely rich in life. I have a roof over my head. I am fed every single day. I have great friends. I have education. And, to me, I'm rich. Like, I might have $2,500 sitting in my checking account to get me through for the next 6 months, but like, it's fine. Everything's fine. But I'm rich. Like, I have people. It's not always about the newest Louis Vuitton, the newest Audi, the newest phone, the newest Apple Watch. It's not always about that type of stuff. And I feel like that just goes to like the whole money thing is just
And then that's also goes back to just staying grounded in who you are
Exactly.
as a person, and just like if you can make your money work for you now, you'll be able to acquire
Exactly.
all of those things just
I
a
forget.
tiny
Hold
bit
on.
later in life. If you just wait a year, then if you just let your money work for you for a year, you can achieve and you can have so much more. But instead of just trying to chase, it'll always just keep running away.
Okay, so I follow this girl on TikTok. Her name's M Financial Freedom. She came from a very similar situation, like me and Brayden. Not that we're in a situation, but middle class, whatever. And she built a lifestyle for herself and her children and that generational wealth just based off of living frugally, like not spending money on things that didn't need to be spent of. And I'm a prime example of this. Like, I have the newest phone. I had the 16 before this, and I just wanted the 17. I just needed it. And looking back, I'm like, damn, that was $1,700 I did not need to spend. And I just feel like that goes to the point of, like, as much as you think I've grown so much, you still have so much more to grow. From freshman year Maya to the end of senior year Maya are two different people. The end of senior year Maya to halfway through the first year of college Maya are all very, very different people. But she always talks about just like never having to. One thing she said was getting Starbucks every day is like, oh, it's just regular. But it's more meaningful when you make your own coffee at home and it's Friday and, oh, yes, it's Friday. I get to get myself Starbucks. It's like a reward. It's not just something that's your day-to-day life. Just like little things like that help you build mental toughness and help with your money management. And I'm still working on my Dunkin' addiction, but it's gotten better.
And bro, that's the one thing. I go to a private school, so these people, like, there's some people who come from nothing because they're smart and they get athletic and academic scholarships to go here. But then there's people who will never have to work a day in their life after they get out of college because that's just what they got and how they grew up. And it's like, I see these girls come in, Dunkin' Starbucks every day. And sometimes they're bringing drinks for their friends. And it's like,
I spend $5 a day.
yeah, and it's like you're gonna get out of high school, you're gonna go into college, and then you're gonna go into your adult life, and that $5 every day, 5 times 300. That's what, $1,500 in a year, and that's not even. There's 365 days in a year, so that's like $1,500 in a year.
Yeah. So
Like if you invested that, that could be so much more. And
so going back to that, that's something I started doing. So when I turned 18, I opened a credit card, and for every dollar that I spend, it charges my card for $2. So if I spend $1, charges it for $2, and that dollar goes into a savings account. So my rule of thumb for myself is if I can't buy it twice, I cannot afford it. And that goes for anything. Like if I can't afford a car payment twice in a month, I cannot afford it. Just like, and that, I feel like that starts with the living paycheck to paycheck mindset of, oh, well, I can, but I'd only have $20 left for the month. And then you move on to another thing. Oh, well, I can get Dunkin', but then I will only have this much. And that just starts that mindset of not being stable and just trying to keep up with everybody else.
Yeah, and then it's like when these kids get off of their mommy and daddy's credit cards and have to pay for their own Dunkin',
They're
gonna realize, damn, I got paid $300 last week and I spent 25 of it at Dunkin' Donuts.
Right,
like
and then
you could have filled up half your gas tank with that. And
that's a full gas tank for me, but they're driving like Porsches and they take the premium.
The 97.
$4 a gallon.
Yeah. I mean, whatever makes y'all happy, but it's just like, be smart, bro, because
I feel like it's
like,
values. Like everyone has
yeah.
different values, but don't let your values be determined by other people's values.
And it's like what like how you said the girl on TikTok, like how she changed her whole entire life. And
Oh, yeah, and
like,
just by living frugally, like,
yeah, and it's
not
like,
living outside of her means.
and then how you said, like, from senior year Maya to college freshman Maya, and like just how much you've changed as a person, like how much I've changed as a person since last May when I started the 100 days.
Yeah.
Like I've changed and grown exponentially as a person.
Yeah.
Like the way that I think, the way that I talk, the way that I just go about my everyday life, I'm a completely different person.
Yeah.
If you met me in May, lost your memory, and met me again, you'd
Yeah.
be like, who the fuck is this?
And
And it just goes to show how much your life can change in such a short amount of time if you just stay consistent with it and
Yeah.
just stay consistent to that goal.
And I feel like another thing with our generation, and this, I take a class in interpersonal communications in college, and we talk a lot about the different types of communication and how our generation is very strictly based on immediate communication. We expect that immediate response. We expect that immediate reaction.
That instant gratification.
So I feel like that's where our generation lacks a lot of motivation, because you're not going to see progress in one day. Progress comes over time. But like your 100 days of becoming a better person, you showed growth in the fact that it wasn't 100 days straight. Like there was days where you didn't record. And like I know that wasn't like what your intention straight off the bat was, but you didn't let the things that, okay, you had a really busy day, you had football, and then you had this, and then you had that, you still were like, all right, I'm gonna find the time, I'm still going to do this. You didn't let those little bumps in the road let you give up completely. Like you still pushed, you still, I mean, you were in Mexico recording these videos. Like,
Yeah, and then that also goes back to starting. Like once you start something, if you have a natural drive to just do stuff in your life, you're gonna want to finish what you start.
Exactly.
And like I've been taught since I was a kid, and this comes from my parents.
Don't quit.
If I start something,
You finish it.
You're not allowed to quit. You have to work through it. And it's like, I remember I told my dad, back when I was like first started ever playing football, I didn't like the coach, and I was like, I don't think I want to play anymore. And he was like, you started it, you got to stay, you can't quit. And I've been playing football ever since. And it wasn't that, he meant for just like that season, but I'm still playing. And then it's like, if I let those little things get to me, like in the first couple of days, there was people commenting on my videos, calling me a cornball, telling me to shut the fuck up, telling me to, oh, like, what the hell is this? And I was like, who are you?
But then those are going to be the people that when you're at the top, oh, I went to high school with him.
Yeah.
He's in my yearbook. Oh, look at this picture of me and him at a high school party back in 2023. Like, but like, I feel like that also goes back to like me in 5th grade when the girl told me I couldn't read the book. Like, it's just all we keep going back to self-drive and self-motivation and doing it for you.
Yeah. And then that's like, it's just, like when I think about it, I want to get rich for all the wrong reasons, bro. Because I want to get rich for, obviously, so I can live however I want, so I can travel the world, so I can support the family that gave me everything. But then I also want to get rich, get famous, do all of this stuff so I can look back and I can say, look at me now. And
yeah, but
like,
I feel like that's not the wrong reasons. I just like, it's your motivation. Like the people leaving those hate comments, also, by the way, fuck you, because you guys are all fucking assholes. Anyways, I feel like there's a difference between letting it define you and using it as motivation.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think you want to be rich for the wrong reasons. I think like I said, being rich is such a broad thing, like money, whatever, but I don't think you want to be rich for the wrong reasons. I think you want to be rich for the right reasons, but you just have to navigate how you're going to act once you get there.
Mm-hmm.
That determines.
And I meant to say it back when we were talking about like you're having your circle, because you want to make sure like that circle that you get, there's going to be people who come and go all the time no matter what it is.
Right.
But it's the people who you let get really, really close is who you have to like be weary of, because like Maya, I know once I get there, once I make it, she's going to act the same way and we're going to act the same way towards each other. But there's some people who once you make it to the top, they're going to look through your drawers in your house to see where that $100 bill is.
Right.
There's going to be the people who, hey, can I take your car out for a spin? And and it's not going to come back.
Right.
And there's just going to be people who use you for the wrong reasons because you let them get so close to you.
Yeah.
So that's also just something to be wary of.
Well, and I feel like we've been friends since we were both fucking hideous and had braces and didn't know how to dress. Like,
terrible.
Like we've seen each other go through the waves, the ups, the downs, the lows, the highs. And I feel like, I've been there when Brayden was at the highest of his highs and when he's been at the absolute lowest, and the absolute same for me. Like, when someone asks me who's the most loyal person I know, it's got to be Brayden. Like, yeah, we get in our little petty arguments, but at the end of the day, he has always got my back. And, like you said, like, when he's rich, because he will be, I'm never going to look at him any different. Like, I'm still going to see him as the little geek with the camera at the football game. Like, I just will never... I don't think my perspective, I'll be proud of him, but I won't ever be like, oh, well, I'm going to keep Brayden in my life because, in case I ever need money or anything like that.
Yeah, it's the people who support you when your delusions are still delusional. It's the people who are there for you when you're in your bedroom on FaceTime crying on the phone because you don't know what the next step in life is.
Right.
It's the people
sitting on the couch recording for an
podcast.
hour and a half for 15 followers. And I do it every single day. If that 15 turned into 1,500, that 1,500 turned into 15 million. Like, I would sit here every single day if that's what it meant to help him get to the top. Because like, once he's at the top, I know that he's not going to forget about me either. Like, I feel like that's another thing. Like, as much as like you talk about once you get to the top, like watching the people that are close to you, but I feel like that's also another thing is it's like I trust Brayden enough to not be like, ugh, Maya. Like, I'll always be that girl who has been at his Thanksgiving dinners and his Christmas and sitting on the couch recording videos. And, shoot, I remember when we were at my house, what was it?
Oh my God, when we tried to make the short film?
Yeah,
oh
like,
God,
we tried
bro.
to make a short film and it just, like, didn't work. Or, like, I've always been like, Maya, can we go take pictures? I need stuff for my portfolio. Yeah, Bray, like, let's go. Where are we going? What do I need to wear? Like, I've always been there, and, he's always made it a point to involve me. So, like, I feel like there's that two-way street of, like, I won't use him and he won't forget about me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bro, that short film. I mean...
Yo, that ended so bad, bro.
One scene in the driveway when we were done.
Yeah, we were... No.
Because we couldn't even make it without laughing.
No. So we got to Tony pulling into the driveway, and then him walking up to my door, and then I stared so hard into the camera.
She's looking at the camera while I'm recording. I'm like, in the clip, I'm like, why the fuck are you looking at the camera?
And then after
have you never watched the movie?
And then after that, we just, like, every time he pulled the camera out, like, I think we just all bust out laughing. And then And then I think one of us cut our hair, so then we looked different. And then it just all went to like shit. But like that's like one of those things, like where we were talking about like the good old days. Like we sit here and we giggle about that little short horror film we were trying to
Like that
make.
was freshman year. Bro.
Yeah, like I still had braces and was blonde. Like,
damn. I don't even want to say what I was.
We can go there.
My hair wasn't even falling down yet. It was still up here.
It was like here you had braces and he hadn't figured out what extra long pants are, so his pants were all high waters.
It was freshman year was just an interesting phase. Man.
But
damn, high school really went by mad quick.
I'm saying.
Like, I remember before I transferred to CBA sophomore year. Like
I was there before Brayden even went to CB fucking A, bro.
Like I remember when I remember making on CapCut, like the memories of me and my JD friends, and now I don't even talk to none of them no more. Next one. So, in trying to be successful and trying to make stuff happen in your life and chasing your goals, how do you stay grounded while chasing your goals? How do you try to not let cause like I find myself getting so consumed with the thought of making it, and it's like not making it is what's scary to me, and it's like that's where my pressure comes from, and it's like I'll sit in my bed awake and I'm like, oh my god, and it's like if this doesn't happen, like I failed, and like that's what scares me, and it's like how do you let yourself not be consumed by that and grounded in your values?
Having an escape, and really differentiating the difference of a goal and a lifestyle. Right now, like I know I'm a college student, I know I need to work hard, but at the end of the day I have to remind myself I'm human. I'm still a teenager, I'm still a young adult, and it's my first time living. Like, I feel like that is something that I say all the time. I say it like, when I get upset with my mom because of something she said or she did, it's her first time living. It's everyone's first time living. No one knows what the fuck they're doing. There's no book on how to live life, right? Like, so I feel like that's something that helps keep me grounded is just, it's my first time living and giving myself grace, like embracing the failure, because you can't learn without failure. If you didn't fail, you would just constantly be successful and everyone would be at the top. Failure is what makes you learn and is what makes you successful. Embracing the failure.
And it's the people who fail the most who learn the most and actually end up making it to the top.
And it's the people that don't give up when you do fail on you. Like, I feel like failure is another very broad word. Like, I'd say my freshman year softball is considered a failure. Like, I didn't succeed. I didn't get to play the season because, I'm getting hip surgery. And so I feel like that's just like, I consider that failure in my brain. But at the same time, I have, people like Brayden who's like, it's going to be okay. Like, we're going to go to PT. We're going to get through it. You're going to come back stronger than ever. And, that failure, I'm using that as motivation. I'm realizing how much I miss being on the field. I miss being able to run up and down and running those suicides, even though I hated my life when I had to run them. But just embracing the failure and not letting the failure define you and learning from it. I feel like that's what keeps me grounded. It's just like, it's your first time living. Embrace the failure. You have to fail to learn.
Failure is only failure if you don't get back up.
Exactly.
Because you can get knocked down as many times as you want, but as long as you just get back up and you keep on trying, you never know what will happen the next time you get back up.
Exactly.
And like another quote, you either win or you learn. You never lose, you never fail if you get back up.
Exactly.
Because you can always learn from your failures. Learn again, learn again, learn again, implement, and then you slowly find the piece to the puzzle. But you'll never know which piece goes where if you never try to put it in the wrong spot first.
Resilience.
All right. So, doubt. A lot of, especially in this generation, bro, like, I feel like we have one of the most unsupportive but supportive generations of people.
Absolutely. Like,
your best friend will support you, but then you'll hear them go and stab you in your back. And like, that is what I think holds the most people back, is because they just want to be so perfect in the eyes of their peers that they're worried about the bigger picture. They're worried about, I could be something great in the eyes of somebody I don't even know, but I'm so caught up in being so great in the eyes of somebody who will never see the greatness in me. So how do you handle comparison when that doubt creeps in?
damn. I just feel like it also goes back to just your values and, keeping your circle small and not being so consumed in, the number of likes on an Instagram post, the number of friends, the number of views on when you're chasing a dream, it's different. But when you're using that as self-validation, it's different. But
It's like, I know I think I've seen posts, you've probably seen them too. It's like, we get so caught up in the likes on an Instagram post where it's like, if 20 people came up to you and said they liked your outfit, that would make your day. But you're mad when you only get 20 likes on your Instagram or TikTok.
Right.
But those are 20 people in this world who took the time out of their day to say, I like this.
How many? Let's just compare. How many followers do you have on your main Instagram?
600 something, I think.
I have 1,200. And my Snapchat gets probably 4,000 views. I talk to maybe 100 people a year. Maybe. And about only 5 or 10 of them do I consistently talk to on a week, consistently tell me that they're proud of me, that I'm doing great. And, that's where, like, I feel like you have to listen. Sometimes you have to feed into your own delusions of, I'm great, I'm, just being fully delusional when it comes to self-doubt. Like, for example, I'm in biomedical chemistry. Okay, that shit's hard as fuck. Okay, right? Like, and I'm sitting there sometimes and I'm like, I can't do this. I'm not smart enough for this. But then I sit there and I'm like, I had to have certain grades in high school. I had to take a test to get into this class. I'm worthy. I'm supposed to be here. I'm going to get, I'll tell myself I'm going to get a 100 on a test. And then if I get 65, I'm like, holy crap, I got a 100. Like, so I feel like that's just like also like,
if you can't tell yourself that you can do it, you'll never be able to
do it. So I feel like not letting self-doubt consume you and just like kind of learning from it. Like I was scared to take the step of switching my major because, it's not easy. No one said it was going to be easy, but I didn't let the doubt of myself or other people change my mind or my way of direction, because, like you said, doubt is just fear of is the fear of failure.
Yeah. And then, like, there's a quote by Kobe Bryant: if you don't believe in yourself, nobody will do it for you. Because if I never went out there and said I'm going to be a millionaire by 21, what would magically make people believe in me to be a millionaire by 21?
Right.
Nothing. And everyone's caught up in their own life. Like, nobody sorry to say it, but nobody cares about you.
Right.
Besides yourself. Nobody is going to come to you once you're an adult every day, tell you to get your ass out of bed, go to work, get money, and chase your dreams. Nobody's going to do that. It is up to you every single day to have the discipline to, I want to do this, I'm going to chase it, and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. And because guess what? Everybody else is worried about their lives. When she goes home, she's going to be worried about getting her stuff done for her med school. After this, I'm worried about editing the podcast. There's other people that are out there worrying about their own lives. They don't have the time to sit down and babysit you. So you have to man up, and you have to be willing to take control, to go and chase your dreams, because you could have either been the person who could have did it, or you can be the person who really did it.
Exactly.
And it's up to you. So, damn. I don't know. We just yapped.
Yeah.
That was a really good first episode.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, like, I feel like
This is gonna be a
Like,
fun journey.
if I was sitting there watching this right now, I'd be sitting there like, you know how you see the TikToks where it's like me at midnight when I decide I'm gonna get my shit together, I clean my whole room. Like
Yeah.
this podcast would make me do that. Like I feel like, and like I'm not even saying that because I'm on it. Like I'm a dead honest person. Like, but I just, even if, like you said, like, if 20 people come up to you in person and are like, hey, that podcast was awesome. Like, I'm doing this, this, and this because of this. It motivated me. You'll feel great inside. Mm-hmm. It's self-rewarding.
Like, when I started a YouTube channel, I posted my first video on Wednesday, I think. Bro, I got 100 subscribers off of one video. First of all, like YouTube, it's hard to like grow.
Yeah,
on YouTube.
hard. YouTube is very hard.
And when my phone, I started getting notifications in school, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm about to get my phone took. But when I go to the bathroom and look at it, I'm like, it's all YouTube notifications, and I'm like, what is happening? And like, the comments started coming in where it was like, at first it was like 2 people that were like, I'm tuned into the journey. It's like, I can't wait to see where this is going to go. But then the next day, it was like, I woke up to like 4 comments, and it was like, oh my God, from a fellow content creator, I can't wait to see how you grow, bro. And then there was like, I just can't, I'm subscribing to the journey. There was people like,
yeah, I was reading the comments.
70th subscriber. I can't wait to see it. And I'm like, damn, like, and when I made the next video, like, I was so hyped in the beginning of that video, like, just talking about that, like, because it's like, those people took the time out of their day to appreciate what I put out there, and that just motivated me. But you can't be so caught up in, yeah, that video only got 500 views while there's videos out there with 500 million, but eventually I'm gonna be there. But right now, I gotta be
content. A lot.
Yeah, like I gotta be content with what I have, and I'm happy with what I have, because that motivated me to.
Is there even
grind.
500 kids in your graduating class?
No.
Exactly. So think about it that way.
Yeah.
If every person in your grade watched your YouTube video, you still would not be at the amount you are at right now.
Everyone would have to watch it like 3 times, I think, for me to get there.
Like, that is something to be proud of.
Yeah. Like, this is just the start, bro.
It's just the start. I can't wait to be up in here when we have when our ring light isn't attached by string.
If y'all seen the setup right now, bro, bro.
Well, you know what? We gotta start. Everyone's gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, bro. And soon, maybe my parents' basement will turn into a waterfront view with a sunset in the background, with a waterfall pool.
Yeah.
But like, for now, man,
I'm loving our couch.
This is just the start, man. But yeah, man. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening, tuning in, whatever you want to call it. This was a good first episode.
Yeah, I agree. And like we keep saying, it's just the first step, and it's
just the start.
Just the start, and see you next time.
Yep. If you've made it this far, this is my challenge for all of y'all. Since this is the start of my journey, since this is my first step, I encourage y'all, whatever you've been putting off, whatever you've been procrastinating, whatever you've been wanting to do, start it. Whether it's a business, put it on a computer, write it out, write whatever you need. Just get the concept out of your head and put it into the physical world. If you want to start working out, go to the gym, because nothing will ever happen just by sitting on the couch and being complacent. Dreams aren't accomplished in complacency. You got to go out, you got to do what you want to do, and you got to actually put your mind to work to get the things that you want.
But yeah, bye guys. Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, follow, but
share, tell your friends, tell your
I'm
mom.
Brayjohn. This is the Who Are We Today podcast. Follow, and you can get this wherever you watch your podcast.
Bye.
And as usual, let's get better together.